East Sepik, one of the most intriguing provinces of Papua New Guinea. Known for its unique culture. And of course, the mighty Sepik River, which flows 1,126 kilometers from the Central Highlands all the way to the Bismarck Sea. For centuries, explorers have been fascinated with this part of the world. But in more recent time, unfortunately, the province lagged behind in socio-economic development. This state of affairs might be about to change, though, thanks to a number of private sector initiatives in the agriculture sector, which are beginning to turn this region on its head.
The vanilla story is an incredible success because there was not one toya of government money ever invested in vanilla. You've got so much money poured into cocoa, so much money poured into coffee and coconuts and everything else, yet those industries are stagnant.
We're here in the East Sepik, and what you see behind me is very traditional of this part of the world. This is a house tamboran, or in English, a spirit house. And this amazing structure has been built completely without nails or any other modern materials. It's using traditional methods and traditional systems to build it. But at the end of the day, that's not really why we're here. We're in pursuit of a story about this product. Vanilla, an amazing crop that has taken off in the East Sepik. We're going to go and see how it's grown, how it's processed, how it's sold on the streets of Maprik. A fascinating story which I'm sure you will enjoy. While vanilla is a remarkable new development here, it was in fact the Spanish explorer Hernando Cortés who, back in the 16th century, brought it back to Europe. After witnessing the ancient Mexican Emperor Montezuma drinking chocolate flavored with vanilla. A long time has passed since then, and vanilla flavoring has turned in the meantime into one of the most utilized spices in the world, used in all sorts of confectionaries, including baking, chocolate, and of course, the one that everyone knows, ice cream. We're on the way to Maprik, a small town in the middle of the East Sepik province. This provincial town was known as a supply base for the Japanese forces during the Second World War. And today, it has turned into a hotspot of activity just because of vanilla. We're here today with my friend Mano. We've come a long, long way from Maprik on some fairly treacherous roads. But we're here for a very special purpose. We've come here to see the heartland of PNG's vanilla industry. And down this bush track behind me, you will see an amazing garden. Come with me and I'll show you. Manu, who was born in the village of Himburu Bukanara, is just one of the farmers around Maprik who has gone into the production of vanilla. Today, we'll be looking at how this crop is actually cultivated, processed, and marketed, and how they have utilized their own local knowledge to produce a world-class product.
The people who are the important players in the agriculture sector are the farmers. They're the important players. Now, if they understand what they are doing in their farming system, then you are going to get exceptional success at the other end. If they don't understand what they're doing, then you are going to have mediocre results.
Well, here we are in the vanilla garden, and as you can see, this vanilla is flowering. Vanilla is actually a member of the orchid family, and it originates in Mexico. And in Mexico, they have a small insect that pollinates the vanilla in the wild. Here, unfortunately, in Papua New Guinea, we don't have that insect. So each and every one of these flowers has to be hand-pollinated. And generally, that is done early in the morning. Mano here is an expert at doing this hand-pollination. He's been doing it for a long time. So what Mano has done is he's bent the flower down. And in this little bit here, the male part is on top. So you have to take the pollen from the very top here and place it under this little flap here. And then press it down so it's firmly in there. And once that's done, your fertilization process is basically completed. So they grow very quickly. And they should end up something about 7 or 8 inches long if they're full grown, sometimes a little bit shorter. It just depends on what the farmer wants from it. But the interesting thing about all this is that this idea, the concept of hand pollination, has spread around the villages here very rapidly, but it's a necessary part of the job. What's interesting about this process is that bees do not manage to pollinate 100% of the flowers, whereas hand pollination can. And for once, humans can actually beat nature. In fact, sometimes we can do it too well, and the vines end up having too many beans, when ideally you would want to have a maximum of 8 beans per bunch and 8 bunches per vine. Otherwise they will grow too small to be classified as A grade. Vanilla is a very delicate crop, and it takes a whole community to look after it. Men, women, and children all participate to assure that the best quality of beans reach maturity. But like everywhere else that's growing vanilla at the moment with these wonderful world prices, security becomes an issue. People are actually stealing the beans before they're properly ripe from other people's gardens to take them to market and sell them. This isn't just happening in Papua New Guinea, this is also happening in Madagascar, where the farmers actually go and sleep in their blocks to provide the protection when the beans are nearly ready. But of course, putting all your eggs in one basket can be a dangerous exercise, as the high value of vanilla on the international market has discouraged many farmers from growing alternative crops, leaving them exposed to the vagaries of the market. Every single man, woman and child is working on their vanilla. They're not putting the effort into other commodity crops like cocoa and coffee. One of the interesting things to note is that although this tree looks healthy, Nobody's keeping it clean around the roots. Nobody's managing the shade over the top of it. And at the end of the day, very little of this will actually get to market. And whilst this is an amazing thing to happen to the village farmers, that they can make so much money from a single crop, it does leave them very, very vulnerable should the price of vanilla come tumbling down. They're better to keep a range of crops growing. That's more important. That's a traditional PNG way, is to have several different crops under your belt.
One reason they abandon cocoa is because of prices. The other reason they abandon cocoa is that you've got the cocoa pod borer that's attacking it. Hence they've abandoned it. You know, one of the things I've learned in 25 years of working with smallholder farmers is this. The smartest economist you have in Papua New Guinea is the farmer in the village. Whether it's in the highlands or on the coast, it's the same thing. Up in the highlands, when they see that the price of coffee is no good, they all go and plant cabbage and they all go and plant potato because they're not going to waste their time. So our farmers are extremely adaptable, and it's really about their labor. Where would they engage their labor that would give them the most return? So what the East Sepik provincial government is trying to do is to provide them an array of opportunities. So you can have your vanilla garden. We will help you establish a cocoa garden that is going to produce 6 times more cocoa than you were able to do in the past.